Barry Smith is the associate editor of the Carolina Journal and a longtime reporter here in the legislative building. Thank you, sir, for being on Budget Time.
Well, it's good to be here.
Well, your favorite topic, huh? Budgets and
budgets.
college baseball. Which one do you want to talk about?
Which one do I want to talk about, or which one do our viewers want to talk about?
I think it's Legislative Week in Review. You better review the Senate
Okay.
budget. Hey, they kept their word, $22.225 billion. Go from there. What's your thoughts on it?
They went slightly above, but they're still under the 2.9% TABOR, Taxpayer Bill of Rights, which a lot of Republicans like to adhere to, which is the it's the growth in population plus the growth in inflation, and so they stay within that range, about 2.8% increase. Also, the House kind of held its own on getting state employees some raises. Mm-hmm. That was a big issue, big difference in the budget. They something else, the teachers' pay was kind of closer to the House, kind of a mix between the two. But not quite as much as the Senate had wanted.
The average of just over $50,000 with some escalators in there and
Right.
years going. Of course, subject to change if something happens to our economy. That's the bad thing about a budget. It's only good for the year you pass it in. But what do you make of the teachers? I mean, some got arrested out here and walking in the streets and protesting a few weeks ago, and now they get a pay raise, 4.7% on average.
Right. They got arrested, and I was trying to leave downtown that day too, so I got caught in the traffic. But there's always going to be a big push for more money for schools, and the Senate Democrats made a big fuss about we still didn't give enough money to the schools. Yes, we like the pay raise that teachers are getting, and it is bringing them up closer to the national average, but they're still not liking some of the nuts and bolts, some of the details in there.
The teacher pay raise, are they as historic as advertised by Republicans who want to tout their historic pay increases?
Well, if you want to look in actual dollars, yes, but if you want to look in inflation-adjusted dollars, I can remember times when they got a 10% raise, and this is not a 10% raise.
Well, no, let's not even talk about inflation, because sometimes it exists, sometimes it doesn't. Other aspects of this budget, school vouchers, part of the Senate wanted those.
The Senate pushed for that. The House didn't object to that. There's about $34 million in additional money to help either decrease or eliminate the backlog for students from lower income families who will be able to get vouchers of up to $4,200 a year to attend a private school.
I don't hear anything about school vouchers outside the legislature, but it's a hot topic in here. Democrats have most Democrats. I remember former Representative Marcus Brandon, a huge supporter. But,
big supporter
of that. But out there in the state, do people like private vouchers, publicly funded vouchers for private school?
Well, it's very popular among the folks who are going to be able to use them. It will actually cost less to educate a student from a state taxpayer standpoint. It'll cost $4,200 a year to educate a student, where it costs $8,000 or $9,000 a year to educate them in the public schools. Although the folks who don't like them do throw in, and it is a legitimate point. There are fixed costs involved in that. Mm-hmm. I think this is an option that some students and parents are taking advantage of. For one reason or another, their students are not doing well in public schools, and they are finding a home in private schools. So I've actually talked to parents who, one of their children does well in public school, very sociable, plays on the basketball team, he likes it. The other child doesn't do as well, and has some problems for one reason or another, and does better in a private school. So sometimes there's a mix and match.
What is about this idea that conservatives have embraced this, when it really is taking someone else's tax money and paying for someone else's kid to go to private school? It doesn't sound like a conservative idea. It sounds quite liberal.
Well, it is. It's given the choice to the parents of where their child gets to go to school. The public schools are going to work. I went to public school.
Me too.
Public schools are going to work for the vast majority of the students. For some, it's not, and it does provide an option. And I think a lot of Republicans are school choice, and this provides choice.
Notice that the standard deduction on the income tax form, $17,500 of your salary will not be taxed by state income taxes in this plan.
You're assuming I don't itemize.
I am assuming that. Maybe you do.
You're right.
Let's see, the Barry Smith fortunes. But
You're right.
You're right. You have to take the standard deduction to get it. But if someone works comes home, cares for the family, doesn't itemize, they're not that complex with their finances. 17.5 is state income tax free. What is that going to do to this budget? What does it do to the economy, job growth, all that?
Well, the Republicans who push for it say that a family, and again, that 17,500 is for a married couple filing jointly. So it's not the same if you're, single, or if you're single, head of household, that sort of thing. But it's going to save them about $110 a year. It's going to save those taxpayers $110 a year. And we're in a little bit better times right now, so that's doable within the budget.
The savings account, rainy day reserves, Republicans have been pumping millions of dollars into it, and this budget would be no exception.
Right.
Is it healthy now, or is it a long-term journey towards $2 to $3 billion in total savings before they stop saving money and just wait for the next recession?
This, I think it's about $475 million this year will go into the rainy day fund. That will bring it to, I think they said, about 7.5% of this budget. Local governments are required to put, I believe it's 8% in. So we're getting close to that amount. That's to be, a reserve in case, for some reason, the money doesn't come in. Or we really do have a rainy day. We have a hurricane. We have another great recession or something like that. So they are pushing for that. There's even a constitutional amendment out there that's floating around. We don't know if it's going to be on the ballot or not, to push that to 12.5%, which would be, what did we say, over $2 billion.
2.675.
About $2.6 billion.
A lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money. It would be a cushion so that either services wouldn't have to be cut drastically, or taxes wouldn't have to be increased should there be another recession, or again, some sort of natural disaster,
which is what the rainy day would
Right.
be. All right, Barry. Well, the budget's really large, and if you really want to dive in it, do like you do. Just sit down and read it over the weekend. It's out there publicly.
I go have your barbecue over the weekend and enjoy the 4th of July.
You'd rather do that than read the budget bill.
I much rather do that.
Well, Barry, it's always good to see you. Happy 4th of July to you.
Thank you.
We'll
Same to
see you
you.
again really soon.
Thank you.